Adnan had always prided himself on his diplomatic skills. 3 years as a human trade negotiator on Station Kepler 442b had taught him to navigate the complex web of interspecies commerce with finesse. The sprawling orbital marketplace buzzed with activity from dozens of alien species, each with their own customs, currencies, and quirks. Today's negotiation with Trader Vexthan, a tall crystalline Zilithian, was proceeding smoothly. The aliens' translucent blue form shimmered as they discussed shipping routes for Earth's newest export, synthetic coffee that could be consumed by 90% of known species without adverse effects. The profit margins are acceptable, Vexthan clicked in their melodic language, translated instantly by Adnan's neural implant. But the shipping cost through the Andorian corridor remained prohibitive. Adnan leaned back in his chair, considering the holographic trade charts floating between them. The crowded cafe around them hummed with conversations in a dozen languages, the perfect neutral ground for sensitive negotiations. What if we split the corridor fees 50-50 for the first 6 months? Adnan proposed. Once the trade route is established, we can renegotiate based on actual volumes. As Vexthan's crystalline features shifted, the Zilithian equivalent of deep thought, Adnan noticed movement in his peripheral vision. A small figure had been watching their table for the past 10 minutes, trying unsuccessfully to appear casual while nursing the same luminescent drink. She was tiny, barely reaching Adnan's shoulder, with distinctly feline features that marked her as one of the Keth Mori, a species known for their fierce independence and unfortunate reputation as hired muscle for less scrupulous traders. Her russet fur was meticulously groomed, and her large amber eyes tracked every gesture of their negotiation with predatory intensity. Nehal had been observing the human for weeks now. The assignment seemed simple enough. Determine if the Terran trade representative was as honest as his reputation suggested, or if he was another corrupt official skimming profits from interspecies commerce like so many before him. The Cathamori coalition had lost too many legitimate deals to human traders who promised fair terms only to disappear with advance payments. Her people needed to know if Adnan Chen was different, or if he was just another smooth-talking biped exploiting the galaxy's smaller species. But watching him negotiate with the Zilithian, she found herself growing increasingly frustrated. He was genuine. His bio readings showed none of the deception markers her training had taught her to recognize. His proposals were fair, his documentation legitimate, his manner respectful toward a species many humans considered barely sentient due to their silicon-based biology. This complicated everything. The terms are agreeable, Vexthan finally announced, extending a crystalline appendage. Shall we seal the agreement in the traditional Terran manner? Adnan smiled and reached out to shake hands, or appendages as the case might be. The Zilithian's touch was surprisingly warm, like sun-heated glass. Excellent. I'll have the contracts ready by... You lying, manipulative, profit-stealing, furless ape. The shout came from directly behind him. Adnan spun around to find the small Kethmori woman standing on her chair. Her fur bristled and her fangs bared. The entire cafe had gone silent, hundreds of alien eyes turning toward their table. I'm sorry, do we know each other? Adnan asked, genuinely confused. I know exactly what you are, Nehal hissed, her translator rendering her words with barely contained fury. Another human scammer preying on honest traders. You think we're all stupid because we're not from your precious Earth? Adnan's mind raced. He'd never seen this woman before in his life, but her accusations were serious. A single allegation of trading impropriety could destroy his career and Earth's reputation in this sector. I think there's been a misunderstanding, he said carefully, keeping his voice calm despite the tension. Perhaps we could discuss this privately. No more discussions. Nehal leaped from her chair with surprising agility, landing directly on their table and scattering holographic displays. You've cheated your last victim. Before Adnan could react, she had crossed the table and sunk her fangs deep into his forearm. The pain was immediate and intense. Kethmori bites were notoriously venomous, designed to paralyze prey 3 times their size. But as the toxin entered his bloodstream, something unexpected happened. Instead of the usual burning sensation and spreading numbness, Adnan felt calm, peaceful. His mind cleared, and suddenly he could perceive something he'd never noticed before, the complex web of emotional intentions radiating from every being in the cafe. Vexthon's confusion and concern, the bartender's amusement, the various patrons' mixture of fear and fascination, and from Nehal herself, still attached to his arm like an angry ferret, came waves of desperate protective instinct and profound disappointment. "You were supposed to be corrupt," she whispered, finally releasing her grip. Her amber eyes were wide with shock. "The toxin, it should have revealed your true nature. But you're actually honest?" Adnan suggested, examining the bite marks. The wounds were already beginning to heal thanks to his medical nanobots, but the emotional sensitivity remained. Nehal slumped onto the table, her tail drooping. "My people hired me to investigate you. We've been burned by human traitors before. I was supposed to prove you were just another scammer so we could justify avoiding Earth commerce entirely." The cafe gradually returned to its normal buzz of conversation, though several patrons continued to steal glances at their table. "And instead?" Adnan prompted gently. "Instead, I've probably started an interspecies incident," Nehal muttered. "Kethamori venom isn't supposed to work that way on humans. It should have made you hallucinate your worst fears, not whatever this is." Vexthon's crystalline form chimed with what Adnan's enhanced perception recognized as curiosity. "Perhaps this is fortuitous. The young Kethamori has inadvertently provided us with verification of your intentions. Among my people, accidental truth bonding is considered highly auspicious for business relationships." Adnan looked down at Nehal, who was still perched on his table looking mortified. Despite the bizarre circumstances, he found himself smiling. "Well then," he said, extending his hand to her, "perhaps we should discuss how Earth and the Kethamori Coalition might benefit from a proper trade relationship. I suspect we have more in common than either of us realized." As Nehal cautiously shook his hand, Adnan couldn't help but think that this was definitely going in his report as the most unusual successful negotiation of his career. After all, it wasn't every day that getting bitten by a tiny alien warrior led to the foundation of a new interspecies alliance.